Hello and welcome back to the ministry. This is Taj McCameron, and today we are talking about the ram in the bush. Your the ram in the bush is your suddenly. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. So, what is the ram in the bush? If we recall in the Bible, if we look back at Genesis 22 and 9, starting there, it is the story of Abraham when he took his son up onto the mountain and he was going to sacrifice his son. Now, if we listen to the story, it says that Genesis 22 and 9, New International Version, when they reached the place God told him about, Abraham had built an altar and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac, laid him on the altar on the top of the wood. Then he reached out at his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from heaven, Abraham, Abraham. Here I am, he replied. Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God because you have not withheld from me your son, your one and only son. Now, pause. We know that Isaac isn't his only son. Ishmael is his first son, but God does not consider Ishmael his son at all. Getting back to the story, Abraham looked up, and then in a thicket was a ram caught by its horns. He went over and took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. Okay? Now, why am I talking about this? God's been laying a download on me this morning, and I'm trying to kind of figure out what he was saying. But a few days ago, the Lord kind of put on my heart, your God ordained spouse is your ram in the bush. I was like, excuse me? What do you mean? I thought it and forgot about it. I thought it, I let it go. I was like, your husband's your ram in the bush. And then it kind of began to play in my head. The Lord showed me when I laid down in bed, it was almost New Year's 2018. He showed me in a dream a split screen. He showed me on one side it was me doing a sequence of actions over a period of time. And then he showed me on the other side my God ordained spouse doing a sequence of actions at the same time. But what we were doing were similar. I was like, wait a minute, what are you saying? God has had you both climbing a mountain. You've been climbing one side. He's been climbing the other. You've been wondering, why can't I get to him? Why is he all the way over there? Why is it blah, blah, blah? Why is he on the other side of the wall? Why is it that he's doing this and I'm over here doing this? I can't tell you how many times me and my God ordained spouse were in the same city and we never ran across each other at all. It's like I would be on one side of the town and he was on the opposite side. I was like, what? What? And I wrote a article. I think I shared that contents here on, and it was called Changing Directions. God will sometimes change your direction. And in it, I made the statement that sometimes you can be going and doing your day-to-day activities every day, doing the exact same thing every single day, but it takes a shift. It could be ever so slight shift or a transitionary shift, where God will force you into a position where you have to go out of your routine to do something different, which will smack dab bring you into alignment with what it was that you've been praying to get into alignment with. And not 1 second, 1 minute, 1 iota before that will you two run into each other. You ain't gonna, it's not gonna happen, because it's almost like you both are operating in a parallel. Both of you are walking two lines that are parallel to each other, and until he makes something happen that crosses the two lines into one, that you cross each other's path, you're not gonna run into each other at all. What does this have to do with the ram in the bush? If I'm walking one path and going up the mountain, and he's walking one path and going up the mountain on the opposite side, when will we run into each other? At the top, right? But, and Megan Michelle said this, and it dawned on me, and maybe this was what I was trying to remember. When the Lord has you walking with him, sometimes he will wake you up first. That means you're walking up the mountain first, ahead of your God ordained spouse. But because your God ordained spouse has the ability to pull ranking, pull weight, pull, because he's stronger than you, he can probably make it up that mountain a lot faster than you can. It's just you had to be woken up first so that you could have the time to catch up. Sometimes, which brings me to one of the points that I was going to make today. Sometimes the Lord has you in what appears to be a demonic delay. It's not that it's a demonic delay. It's the fact that you're moving a little bit too fast. If you keep going at the rate that you're going to either get to where he needs you to get to too soon, and the other person isn't going to be there yet. Ergo, you're going to miss each other. And it's funny. Oh, look at this. Somebody was talking about this the other day. Matter of fact, actually, I saw 2 words on this within the past week, where they were saying that the person was supposed to be somewhere, but they were late. And because they were late and went somewhere else, they ended up running into their God ordained spouse in that instance. But it was a dream that they were having. But that would not have happened had they not operated in the wisdom to go in that direction. It was an inconvenience that led them to running into their God ordained spouse. This was not where this word was supposed to be going, but God, work your whatever your will is. We're gonna follow this. I'm getting the discovery of what this word is as I'm going, okay? Now, as you're going, you have a direction in which you're supposed to be walking in. Sometimes you run into a delay. That is not a delay. God is moving. It's going to be an expedient move. You're going to get the resources, the finances, what have you. But sometimes what God will allow to happen at certain particular points in time across your journey as you're traveling up is it looks like you're in a delay. But sometimes that is a rest, reset, recuperation, so on and so forth, for you to recalibrate and gain understanding as to the next phase of this walk that you're going in. But you're still going up. You haven't quite reached your destination, but you're still going up there. You're still headed up there. You're still in the direction that you're supposed to be in. But with that being said, there may be a moment in which God seemingly is dismantling you. And you're like, God, what is this? It's not a dismantling. It's not a delay nor a dismantling. It is the Lord almost putting you through godly review. And I didn't get this because I had a dream last night where I saw a repeated action. And I was like, why am I repeating this? And then verbally speaking it in the dream to repeat what I saw. And I was like, oh, it's a review. I've been having these dreams where I've been in a holding pattern where I would be held in this one particular location. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm being delayed. Oh my God, I'm being delayed. Then I ended up in the dream I was in last night, I was in detention. And I'm saying, why am I in detention? And I didn't realize that I was in detention. I said detention this morning when I was reviewing to write it down. And I'm sitting there like, detention? And detention is a holding pattern that they put you in for a political crime so that you can be held before you are put before the courts. Think Joseph. Joseph was put in a holding pattern. He had to be held before he went to go see the prime minister. A lot of us have been put into a season where it looks like everything went and dried up on us. We're like, Lord, what in the world's going on here? Everything was thriving. We had the money going. Everything was in order. And then it was like everything, he put us in a new location and everything dried up from our previous season. And we sitting there like, Jesus, what is this? Abraham and the ram in the bush. Sometimes the Lord will have you in a situation where everything that you believe that you need dries up. And you're sitting up there like, God, what is this? God will test everything in which you believe that you're supposed to hold on to until you go into your next season. And you're sitting there. It's like, this was the promise. This is this. Why am I dried out now? Why does it seem that I have to dump out things now? Why is it right at the point in the brink of the manifestation of the thing in which you've called me to do? This is happening. What is this? And God's like, I gotta test you before I bless you. And the test for Abraham is he had to put the promise. Because you ever wonder why it is that Abraham didn't take Ishmael up there? Put a complete end to all of the drama that we are seeing in our world right now, because he would have taken out the enemy. There would not have been so many issues if he had just taken out Ishmael, right? Perfect. Take him up there. Sacrifice him. Perfect, right? And I'm sure if Sarah knew that he was taking Isaac up there, she said, you better go and get Ishmael. You better not take the promised child. Are you crazy? But God said, take Isaac. But the whole time, he's sitting there. God is not going to have me kill this boy. There ain't no way you going to have me kill this boy. How you going to have me kill this boy? This is the promise. How you? Some of y'all holding on to some things that the Lord gave you. This is the promises. And they looking like they under threat right now. Currently, I have something that I got to do in relation to my system. And I'm like, God, if I don't correct this thing and this doesn't get taken care of, I could end up losing access to the very thing that was my promise. Well, what are you talking about? This has to fix itself. What in the world is going on? Ram in the bush. I'm waiting on my ram in the bush. Now, let's go look at the ram side of things, or shall I say, your God ordained spouses, who's coming up the other side of the mountain. He's got his own set of sequences of delays. And what comes with his sequence of delays is he's had tests. Remember the word I released a while back talking about the six spirits that come for the one man, talking about the spirit of lust? Think about it like this. David was where he wasn't supposed to be. David saw Bathsheba. He got taken over by the spirit of lust, which made him then get taken over by a spirit of murder, which then ended up having him he committed the sin of adultery. He committed the sin of murder, and all of these kinds of things. These are the things that David did. But he also was operating with a spirit of Jezebel, meaning some of these men, they are looking for rest. They climbing up a mountain just like you are. And they getting to the top just like you getting tired, they getting tired. But what happens is, what do men do? Men have a tendency when they're climbing up something and they get tired. We rest and we think. Men rest and they have a tendency that if they see a nice little woman over there that looks nice, Bathsheba. Her name was Bathsheba. That just in itself tells you you should not mess with her. Jezebel. Hello. So they get into a resting mode and they're like, I won't go mess with that particular person. God's like, that ain't a good idea, bruh. Why are you doing this? What is wrong with you? Which opens them up to a spirit of what? Delay. Demonic delay. Because this woman's going to run around here and operate in a masquerading spirit. She going to look like everything he want. She going to be there. And see, the problem with these men is women are targeting these men in their moment of weakness, in their moment of exhaustion. Every time they come into a state of rest, these women come in and try to come against your territory. Meaning they're trying to now come into your spiritual space and say, I'm going to bogart here and I'm going to sit in this spot. Now, because she trying to come in and sit in this spot, she can't sit there because it's not her spot to sit in. But she's using this as a form of delay for him. You may be feeling like you're delayed, but maybe you're getting an essence of a spiritual notice. He's being delayed. Because God's got to stop you from moving, because he stopped moving too. You're spiritually connected. This is why the enemy wants to bring in a masquerading spirit in order to create a spiritual split. He wants to split you from one another in order to see if he can keep him where he's not supposed to be. Because why? Spirit trying to set up house in your territory. By distracting you or getting you busy putting on things that you're not supposed to be putting on. Taking on assignments you're not supposed to be taking on. In order to pull you backwards. I'm hearing that song by Chingy and Tyrese. Every time I try to leave, something keeps pulling me back. Yeah. Something is trying to pull them back. So, because they know that if this man reaches the top and he becomes the ram necessary, you're going to catch him. That's why what they try to do is turn the man's head around and get him to run in the opposite direction. Because if they can get him to run in the opposite direction or lure him away through lust or spiritual murder or aborting what it is that he's supposed to put his hands to when he gets to you, you end up running into confusion. But the enemy can't stop. Because just like the Lord can dismantle or will allow the enemy to dismantle things, these enemies, these Jezebels think that they coming in and doing something. They're not doing anything. Because when God is ready, he will remove them. But what he does is he allows this Jezebelic spirit to sit in that space in order to show the man, you don't want this. This isn't what you want. This isn't what you desire. Are you not tired? Are you not tired of fighting? Are you not tired of dealing with this? Are you not tired of this confusion? Let me show you from your childhood where this came from, so I can break this off of you right quick, because you're not understanding. This is something that has to do with a spiritual thing, and it ain't got nothing to do with this woman. This woman is only sitting here until you break this covenant and you break the spiritual curse that's holding you up. So what they do is, the person that is operating in that spirit, meaning that Jezebelic spirit, they try to hold him up, try to hold him back, try to keep him from getting to you. But they can't do that by creating some type of, it can't do it, because it's never going to work. It's not the actual desire. It's not where their heart is, and the Lord is actually using it to show the man this isn't what you want. And by showing them that it isn't what they want, it gives them clarity. But what the Lord will allow, and I was discovering this, I was watching a clip from one of my old TV shows, what the Lord will allow is, it looks like the Jezebel is winning. It looks like that person that is operating in a narcissistic Jezebelic spirit, they got this position in your God-ordained spouse's heart, and when they see the God-ordained spouse, they're kind of like, I don't know if I want this right now. But it's not so much that it's, I don't know if I want this right now. Just like you are being tested for this position to be put over here, they are too. As you're sitting there trying to figure out whether you're going to kill Isaac, which is the promise, they're sitting over there with a love in their heart for this Jezebelic spirit, not because they love the person, but because they have a spiritual connection to them that needs to be broken, that they need to come into the wisdom of. They are not seeing clearly. Sometimes you are at the brink of your biggest blessing, but these types of Jezebelic spirits will come in either on your side, on their side, in order to test their desire for you. Do they really want this? Do they really desire this? Are they really fighting for this? But the dismantling is this. The Lord allowed that because what is actually going to happen is the God-ordained spouse is going to give them something that is going to inevitably break their position. Meaning, it literally is going to put them in a position that they are going to walk into their judgment. They are going to go into a judgment place and become stuck. And God's allowing that to happen. And I just figured that out. God is actually going to use your God-ordained spouse to put them into judgment. Oh my goodness. And then they will be set free to come to you. Ooh. Mic drop. Mic drop. I'm letting that sit there for a minute. Because of the fact that you are in the situation that you're in, he had to do what he had to do, but he knew ahead of time what would give the enemy time to set you up. Some of these things are being done in order to set you up so that God can set them up. And then, as we know, it says in the word that you dig a pit for your brother, you fall in it yourself. It's a setup. They're going through their tests and trials while they're coming up one side. You're going through yours as you're sitting at the top of the mountain, because you're already sitting there waiting for them. You're waiting. You're waiting. You've already positioned yourself to make the sacrifice that's necessary. You've been making the sacrifice. You've been fasting. You've been praying. You've been doing all of the things. And now you're going to walk into the blessing. But you have to sit in that place of sacrifice until they meet you. And they're going to meet you. But right now they're trying to tie up the loose ends as the Lord is dismantling what's going on in their life. Because they're going to come up and they're going to be the ram in the bush. Your God ordained spouse is going to come and they're going to be in the ram. But one might say, ram in the bush? Why would the spouse be a ram in the bush? That means you got to sacrifice them. No. It means that they are coming to be the solution to your problem. That doesn't mean you killing them. It means, and if you look at it, it can be. Because think about it. In Mark 8 and 36, they have to give their life in order to become one with God, in order to save their life for the gospel, to save it. So they have to come to you and give up all of the things that they were walking up the mountain to release. The Lord showed me in multiple dreams that my God ordained spouse was either driving up a mountain, he had gotten out the car and he was looking up this long road that was headed up a mountain, but he was coming up. He's coming up. But y'all both on two different sides. In a lot of the cases, I was already up there. He just had to get to where I was. So they have to get to where you are. But what the Lord is using to give them clear vision, and this is my last point for this particular word, is that He already has shown them that the woman that they may have entertained for that period of time that delayed them, they don't have the attribute in order to cover them. They can't cover them. The shoe don't fit. They can't walk a mile in your shoes. Think about Cinderella. Cinderella shoe could not fit not one other woman in that kingdom. No other woman could fit her shoes. Which brings me to this point. A lot of y'all have rings. I've been seeing and hearing this a lot. These men have already purchased the ring. These men already know. The ring is like the Cinderella shoe. That ring is only going to fit you. That ring has already been set for you. That ring, I already know. My fingers are small. Can't nobody fit a ring. 9 times out of 10, that would fit my finger because I have an unusually small finger. Most women would have a larger finger than mine. So if you force a ring that's not supposed to fit on a person's hand, on their hand, it's not going to fit. It'll get stuck before it even passes the first knuckle. My fingers are so small that I don't even think you could get it to the knuckle if the person's finger was bigger than mine. There is a blessing that comes with this marriage, and it only fits you. They're not going to be able to put it on nobody else. They're not going to be able to set it on nobody else. It's not going to fit on nobody else but you. These marriages are coming, and they're going to happen quickly. When he gets to you, when your ram in the bush comes, he's going to solve all of your problems. The things that are at risk of being sacrificed in this moment, they're only being at risk because he's coming up the other side of the mountain. And when he comes, he's going to solve all those problems. Hold fast, stand still. The answer is on the way. And the ring, the proposal, the opportunity, this ring, this opportunity, this marriage is only going to fit you. It was made for you. I was looking at a video the other day, and the title was called Tailor Made. This relationship is tailor made for you. This ram in the bush is the only thing that's going to fit. Now, the thing about the ram in the bush, the ram got caught in the thicket. These men are caught up on you. They're caught. Spiritually, it's like I remember early on when the Lord showed me, before I understood who my God-ordained spouse was, I felt an arrow prick. What it is Cupid's arrow shot them in the heart. God already done put that on them. They're caught. They already in it. They just waiting. He's caught up in the thicket. He's not going to be able to do anything else but do what the Lord wants him to do. But it was always going to work out that way because it was already set up that way. So I hope this blesses you. And I pray that this is what you needed. So much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you. Bye-bye.